help it, I just seem to see the world different. It ain't Republicans or labor rules, it's mental illness. The internet is only interested in left opinions. Cancel culture's got more power lately than the First Amendment. If you don't like it, leave. We will not defund police. We don't want no riots in our neighborhoods or in the streets. We respect freedom of speech. We protect what we believe. We don't want nobody dead, so please do not tread on me. In America, your freedom ain't free. In America, got soldiers dying overseas. So America, can say what we believe. My America, I won't ever take a knee. Our freedom is the reason you can disrespect our flag. If my stars and stripes offend you, then I'll help you pack your bags. America.
Good evening, America. It's your friendly but bearded weirdo coming at you loud and proud as I always do, and with this magnificence upon my face. How y'all doing? I'm a little bit angry today. You're going to find out why, but first I'm going to introduce these people, my best friends that I work with. First, it's a man to the left. He is the gray-haired wonder. He is my best friend, my compadre, and he also happens to be my pastor. He is the one, the only, the Gary Podosek. And then behind the pooter, behind that technological wall, our Wizard of Oz, he is the one and only Steve Cattell. So how you doing, brother?
Doing well.
How about you adjust that lower lip of yours and so you can talk?
Fine.
How you all doing, guys?
Yeah, we're good.
Good, man. Good.
As you can tell, the topic of this is the fecal matter has hit the oscillation device. And there's a reason for it. There's a lot of things that have gone on in the last 2 weeks. I was perfectly fine. I wanted to do another Politics for Dummies episode.
Still kind of is one. He has no idea what's going on.
No,
I mean, this is true.
I don't have a clue what's going on. I heard on TikTok about Israel blowing up stuff. That's all I heard.
Yeah, well, we're going to get into it. Before we get to the giant, humongous,
World event,
we're going to talk about some things that are a little closer to home first, get those topics out of the way of what happened in the last 2 weeks, because there's been a lot that's even happened stateside. And then we will talk about the humongous Israel size elephant in the room. Okay, first of all, and we weren't even going to bring this up before, but Steve had asked me if we were going to bring it up, and that was the debate.
Yeah.
Real quickly, DeSantis wins, and Fox should no longer be doing debates. Period. In fact, I think no media organization.
I thought we already did talk about this, didn't we?
No. It had the debate was 2 days after our last episode.
Oh.
Trump didn't show.
Trump didn't show. Trump's not showing at the third one either. He's already said it.
And well, here's the funny thing about this whole thing with Trump. If his numbers were dropping, then I would sit there and go, okay, well, maybe he probably should show up. But it's not. He's gained points somehow. I don't know how. I don't care. I don't trust polls or polls. I get it. Maybe it's a bad move to trust the polls in this case. I have no idea. Always. But it's his choice. He makes these decisions. I don't know.
And
I don't have anything to say about it.
It is a dumb move because this is the interview process for a job you want. We are the employers. You want the job, you show up to the interview. You're not showing up to the interview. It shows me that you care more about you than you do the American people, and you should not get the job.
Well, legitimately, though, if you want to talk about it legitimately, he's not technically electable. He can't actually run for president.
Yes, he can.
No, he can't.
Why can't he?
Because he's technically still the president.
Oh, well. I agree. That safest, most secure election, he won.
Could you imagine the Democrats pulling that one? Well, we actually stole the election and Trump did win, so he can't technically run for office.
Hey, now they're saying that hey, why not? They've changed on other directions. Like before they said they couldn't build a wall, but now they're building the wall.
Yeah.
And that, so, hey, all things are possible with democratic stupidity.
Grandpa Smithers or whatever we're going to call him in the office now is, his initial thing when he was elected was that not 1 square foot of border wall would be built under his administration. Yep. And remember, when he was running for election, he he touted the borders would be open. He touted that as soon as he was sworn in, that people should be flocking to the border of Texas and would be gaining entry because this presidency would never refuse anybody who was seeking.
And now that places like Chicago, New York, and everybody else is getting
sanctuary cities,
since all the sanctuary cities are getting people sent to them, and now they can't handle it. Now they're crying to the president, and now they're saying that, we have to do it. My hands are tied. That's what he said in the last thing.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is yes, that money was already allocated, so they can't spend it on anything else. But in order for them to build this wall, they've broken 26 laws, policies,
they
and
had to
everything
pull
else.
down 27 laws that they already wrote,
that
they put up themselves to prevent and protection measures to not have the wall built. They had to violate all the 27 things that they put up.
And a lot of those things were things that Joe Biden signed in first day one.
Yeah. Just as an anti-Trump movement.
Yeah. So now they've had to break their own stuff, which is hilarious to me. So I say that to say that what you just said about them saying, you know what, Trump really won, we stole it.
Yeah, nothing should shock you at this point.
It would not shock me at this point. Yeah. So that's been one thing. The debate, look, Fox should not be handling a debate anymore. To be honest, neither should CBS, NBC, or anybody else. I personally believe that
these candidates had cojones, real ones, not pandering to the party politics, whatever, they would go and they would sit themselves on the opposite side of people like Crowder, Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro.
I honestly believe that there should be a move.
They should go and honestly, I'm going to even pull away from Tucker just a little bit. Not that Tucker's not good. And not that when Tucker was doing the screening of them earlier that he didn't ask some hard questions.
And those were softball compared to what he would ask in a debate.
But this is my point. Even in Tucker's questions, he didn't ask the questions that really the American people want to hear. Right? And that's the bottom line. And honestly, if you really want to get down to it, that's kind of probably the reason Trump's been avoiding it. Because if Trump would have gone to that debate, how many of the questions do you think the moderators would have asked would have been surrounding Trump and all of the legal garbage?
All of it.
Yeah. So it would have literally been a rigged debate to basically have all of the candidates dogpile on Trump to make him look unelectable, which is if you think about it's a Democrat plan coming from a supposed Republican institution.
No, they're Democrat owned. Fox is owned by Disney.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next debate is in Tampa in November with CBS. Now, granted, I actually believe that CBS will ask harder questions. Why? Because they are Democrat leaning and they want to make the Republican candidates look garbage. Okay, they will want to. They will openly do it. Fox can't openly do it because they still say that they are the the conservative voice.
Yeah.
So so even though they're leaning more liberal,
they still want their softball questions.
Yeah, the CBS it'll most likely be a better debate with CBS. Honestly, I want as much as I have an issue with Shapiro and their whole thing, I would rather it be Daily Wire, The Blaze, Joe Rogan, and Crowder all team up and do the debate themselves. Do it live go with Crowder because Crowder's on Rumble where nobody else is, so they could do it on Rumble and YouTube, and if YouTube tries to take it down, it's still going off on Rumble. Do all of y'all team up with Crowder and let's do this right.
I don't even have to team up with him. Just use his platform.
Well, no, you are teaming up for one event. Work together for one event to weed out the garbage when it comes to the candidates. Well, and I'm okay with that because I honestly believe you put Shapiro, Rogan, Steven Crowder, and
come on, really? Glenn Beck.
Glenn Beck. Actually, I wouldn't even bring Glenn Beck in. I'd rather do Steve Deace because I think Steve Deace would ask harder questions than Glenn Beck.
Yeah, but Glenn Beck, I like Glenn Beck as a historian. But you can pull a lot of history.
Okay, so you put those four people as a panel to go with to find Republican nominees. They're going to have to answer some tough questions. And they're going to have to do it on their feet. And even if Trump was there, they wouldn't throw Trump softball questions either. They would hit him hard, and they would hit him all hard. And people, after the first debate, if those four people were running it, do you think it would literally be down to only Trump and DeSantis if those four people were on a thing at this point? All the rest of them would have been shamed publicly and off the bat, gone. Okay, so there's that debate. Okay, that's
and now you also have to add in the wild card now, right? Because a wild card happened. He's gonna be running as an independent. Kennedy's gonna run as an independent.
look, just to say,
No, and I'm sorry, I'm not mocking him. That's exactly how he sounds.
because his voice sounds like that, just to make it so we can all understand him better, he should just use the thing.
But here's the thing: the reality is that Kennedy running as an independent, not as a Democrat, because he wasn't going to get a shot as a Democrat anyway.
Because he's running against an incumbent. So.
People tend to think, oh, he's gonna like steal from both sides. I highly doubt that.
I think he will get a lot of the libertarians.
Highly doubt he's going to get any of those.
He'll get some of the libertarians. He's not going to be a Ross Perot. Ross Perot stole from people when it came to votes.
Ross Perot
stole from Bush. Actually, Ross Perot
elected George Bush as president. Just so you guys all know that he would not have won that.
George H.W. Bush, George Sr. would have won his second election had Ross Perot not. Because remember,
sorry, you're right. The other way around. Yeah,
he gave Clinton.
Sorry, the other way around.
He won Clinton.
Yeah,
honestly, because
he elected Clinton.
Because here's the thing: he got 20. Ross Perot was the most. The third.
Can I finish?
He got he was the only independent. Sorry, not libertarian.
But he was
only independent third party runner who has ever gotten the amount of votes he got. He got 28% of the national vote, which he killed. He made it so that Clinton won.
But how he did it, like I don't know many people remember this. SNL did like parodies and parodies and parodies of this, and it was so funny.
He was great.
But the fact of the matter
is, Ross Perot to win.
Ross Perot literally turned around. Now, I mean, I don't know if he was legitimately, seriously going to do any of the stuff he said, or if he was just full of like garbage. But the man like had a lot of money. There was no lying about that. He had to submit his bank records. He was
rich upon
loaded.
Rich. He was rich upon
when he
rich.
turned around and he said, "Yeah, I think he said it was parodied in SNL, but it was like basically he was like." I'm funding my own campaign. I'm not taking any donors. I'm not taking any money. I'm funding my whole campaign. And when I do get elected as president, the first thing I will be doing is spending a large portion of my money to get stuff done. And I'm like, I don't think he can legally do that. I like your idea. He's just going to spend his own money. But like, no, we don't need to talk about it. Cash pile. That covers it. I'm like, he's like a Disney cartoon guy. Like, I mean, it was like everything is so funny.
So that was the debate. The next thing that happened.
I am not worried about Kennedy.
No, not at all. Not at all. Now, the next thing that happened is over the weekend, or just before the weekend, I'm sorry. It was last week. For the first time in 50 or 60 years, and I think it was actually, somebody said it was the first time it ever happened to the Republican Party, they removed Speaker of the House.
Oh, yeah, McCarthy.
Okay, they got rid of McCarthy, I didn't want him there to begin with, wait, so I'm happy about that.
Pause. To really just quickly, because this is, again, a little bit of a dummies thing, because Steve isn't going to know about this. Yeah. So, this is not a normal thing.
No.
Okay? There is a vote of no confidence that can be held against a seated leader of the House or leader of the Senate representative for the party, right? Mm-hmm. So right now in the Senate, the House representative is
it's Speaker. No, they're just called Senate Majority Leader.
Senate Majority Leader is
because the Speaker of the Senate
is the Majority Leader right now.
The majority. I have no idea.
It's the guy from California. I can't stand him.
I don't know. I know
Mitch is the minor. I know.
Mitch is the minor.
Minor. He's the Senate
and technically the Speaker of the Senate is the Vice President.
Yeah, Schumer. Thank you.
Schumer. Yeah.
Schumer's technically.
No. Is Schumer California? I thought Schumer was.
Schumer's California.
I thought Schumer was New York.
No, Schumer's California. Maybe he's New York.
I thought Schumer was New York. Because
I don't know. Either way, Chuck Schumer is currently the majority leader of the Senate, and before this happened, House Speaker McCarthy was the leader of the Republican
He was the speaker.
Party.
He was the Speaker of the House.
Now, to understand that there was an ability to vote out that speaker position, or even in the leader, you can ask for a vote of no confidence in the leader of the minor or major party leaders in the Senate, but you then need to have a vote for that, and it needs to be 2/3.
Nope.
In the Senate, it's 2/3.
And not in the House.
Not in
Just
the House.
majority.
Majority in the House. Okay.
And you know how they got majority? Do you know how?
No. Hold on.
I got to say this because this is hilarious.
No, but wait, you got to understand. But in order to propose it, you need more than, and that's what I said. This is where you need it. You need more than half of your party, I think it is, or something.
Not now.
For vote of no confidence. It still technically is. But one of the proposals that McCarthy had to settle, because there was a lot of division in the vote for him to be sat in as that Speaker of the House, one of the concessions he made was that one person
could bring up the vote.
The vote of no confidence.
Oh.
And it was meant to keep him in line because he's
only one person had to say it, and then therefore they would have to hold a vote just on one person. Where prior it needed to be a certain percentage of that percentage.
That percentage that was made, that was a thing that Pelosi created years ago.
In order to prevent
it used to be only one.
Up.
It used to be originally vote of no confidence always used to be from the founding of the House was one person. That's all you need was one person to say vote of no confidence, and they would hold vote. Now, the vote could end up not having them taken out, but you could do it. And it was a way to help control the speaker from going nuts and doing things they're not supposed to. So they did that. Now, there are 20, I believe it's 20 or 22, 20 to 22 members of 20 to 22 Republicans that are part of the House are known as the House Freedom Caucus. These are individuals that want to bring things back down. They want to decrease spending. They want to bring things back to the way America should be and the way the House should be run and everything else. Gates is one of them. He was one of the he was
one of the people who was very, very, very much against McCarthy being put in as Speaker of the House because McCarthy is
a rhino.
Well, he's not just a rhino. I wouldn't say he's a rhino. He is a very typical Republican Party normal.
He's not a conservative.
He's a very normal Republican. He's
the old school warmonger Republican.
Very atypical, standardized, old breed of Republican. Not anything that is.
Oh, and he's a California Republican.
So
that says it all right there.
But anyway, I'm not picking on any of that. But generally speaking, one of the biggest problems that people had with McCarthy was the fact that he is so he's part of this MO of politicians that basically will go, well, we have to play nice with both sides in order to get things done. And the problem is that, okay, that might be true in a utopian house and in a utopian
not even
Senate.
utopian, where both sides actually want America to go in the right way.
In the sense of that, if you were dealing with people that are rational and are thinking about things that are for positive growth of the country, about actual citizenry, that you care about what the people want, I would agree.
But the social compact has been destroyed by the Democrats. When you have a
radical left, so radical that they want to cut off the genitalia of your children, they want to mutilate people, they want to control your Second Amendment, your First Amendment, they want to tear apart the Constitution.
They want to end life in the womb.
There's so many things that they want to do that are just abominations to what this country stands for. You can't just go, well, we got to play nice with them.
Yep.
No, you can't. They're so far away from a statue of being able to play nice with anymore. You can't. Right. So McCarthy was one of those guys that would just concede a lot of things in order to make things happen. That brings up what got him canned.
Yep.
And this is where it's very important.
The spending bill.
The Democrats put out a major spending bill that Biden wanted to throw through. Okay.
Well, it was not just a spending bill.
Biden,
it was our budget. And in our budget was going to have all this spending.
It was a budget bill, and the budget basically was saying we're going to spend all this money. We've been spending money like a water tap that's on full blast, and we don't have anything coming in to refill it.
Oh, so it's like me.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, we did have something coming in when Trump had us have enough oil that we were selling
when we were an exporter of things and we had money.
Now we're not.
But this is where you got to ask as a non-political person, okay, something that you can relate to. Okay. All right. So you have a job, and that job pays you money, and you get paid a certain amount of money. All right.
Yep.
Now, right now, you're saying the job that you got into is paying you pretty good, which is great.
Right.
Okay, what happens if all of your bills double.
Then I can't afford to live.
Correct, because your money that you're making is not covering your bills, right? So the way this works is that what they were trying to do was put a bill across that basically is saying, well, we're going to spend all this money. We're going to send more money over to Ukraine. We're going to do all these other things. We're going to spend all this money. But when you look at what we've been spending and what's been coming in
as taxes,
it can't cover it. And so you're going to have to do what?
More debt.
And
print money.
You're going to have to raise
people.
So you're going to have to get more money from the people. And what happens is that they do it in a weird way. What they do is they print more money.
Yep.
Okay.
Which brings inflation.
Which basically
devalues the dollar.
Makes all of your dollars cost less. So now that means in order to get something, you need to pay more dollars for it, which means all the prices of your goods
go up.
So you got more money, but you're spending more money. And all they're doing that for is to make 1% or 2% on all the money that they printed back to pay for all the stuff. So what that does to the citizens, however, is it makes everything more expensive. But if you're not one of the very few people that get those government benefits to their businesses, you're not going to make more money.
Yeah.
So you're going to make the same amount of money as you did while everything goes up, and only those certain government jobs get those benefits of that extra dollars to then pay the taxes on so that they can. And here's the thing. They're not going to tax their paycheck more, but they're going to tax the goods more.
Yep.
And then they're going to funnel it through the states and get it back. So this is how the government's been doing this. But if you're spending money and the American people are hurting and the economy's not good and jobs aren't good, even though you have an
Bidenomics is not working.
Stop. Don't even get me started. And you got president that doesn't know anything about numbers and doesn't, and his whoever writes his books literally just writes a fiction book every time to come out there. No, seriously. I feel like they got who's the guy who wrote the Bearstein Bears?
I have no idea.
Or Winnie the Pooh or any of those.
I feel like Dr. Seuss is writing his speeches.
Yeah, there you go. Dr. Seuss is writing his woke debt relief numbers for Jean-Pierre to read from every single time she gets up there.
Billion,
they're making up numbers. They're like it's it's insane. So anyway, but they go and they say they're going to spend more money as a Republican. Okay, a conservative Republican.
As a conservative,
one of the things you say is we can't do that because the American people can't afford to keep spending money.
Well, the belief is that if as
the
an
government
American
is just writing empty checks.
If as an American you can't spend more money than you bring in, then the government shouldn't be spending more money than they bring in. Which is which common sense. I get it, people. I get it, America. There isn't much of that left in this country. Common sense would say that's the smart way to do things. So anyway, they voted his butt out. What's hilarious is
that's the reason they voted him out, because he was going to agree.
Only 8 people
flipped it.
Only 8 Republicans voted to get him taken out. The rest of the Republicans voted to keep him in. All the Democrats helped to get him out.
Wow.
Okay, which is hilarious.
Weird. How would that happen?
They think that by doing this, it's going to make us look like a joke. We're going to hinder things, and it'll help them get more Democrats elected later.
Actually, I don't think that's what
they were doing. They were doing hooting and hollering parties in the hallway when he got voted out.
I think what they are planning, and now I don't have a ball to look into the future here, but I do have a hunch that what they're hoping or banking on is that there will be House seats flipping by people literally going, you know what, I'm not going to put up with the Republican Party anymore. I'm going to change my party.
No, the reality is that there are more.
And
if
they do that,
flipping
and
Republican.
they flip to Democrat, right? If they did do that, I'm saying if they did do that, then they'd be able to put in the commie Jeffries in as House Speaker.
But so now there are 2 people currently running, and tonight sometime they're actually going to speak to the House to basically do their debate or whatever. There's 2 people. There's 2 people that
Jordan
are running.
Needs to be the House Speaker.
Jim Jordan, and then we have McCarthy 2.0 in Scalise.
No. Jim Jordan
has actually come out and straight up said we are not going to give any more money to the Ukraine.
Yep.
Period.
Jim Jordan.
You can't tell us where the money is going. Until you will get no more money. Yep. And honestly, Jim Jordan, with everything going on in Israel, which we will talk about in a minute, everything going on in Israel, he will push for things to go to help Israel and totally forget about the Ukraine. honestly.
And
that's what needs to happen because Ukraine is not our ally.
Two proxy wars.
Well, Israel isn't a proxy war. Israel isn't a proxy. That's a war.
No, it's
Israel has declared war.
Our job, we are in a proxy war. We are in a proxy war with Russia because we could put troops on the ground, but then that would be bad. So we're just going to fund Ukraine in order to
and you know
have
what's
a good
hilarious?
outcome.
I'm going to say this,
but you ain't get nowhere.
I don't want to take too much time on this, but I am going to say this as a side note. If y'all didn't know, y'all need to look up Poland because Poland is more American than we are right now. Because they're amassing a huge army. Yeah, he's partially Polish. I used
25%, more than 25%.
I used to say Polish jokes, but I'm going to have to stop
Irish
doing it now
Polish,
because now I'm going to have to switch all those Polish jokes to American jokes because the Poland, even though like they have gotten it down, they have bought a crap ton of tanks. They've bought a bunch of they bought a bunch of stuff from us, paid for it, not us giving it to it like we've been giving just to Ukraine. They've been paying us for things. So we've been arms dealing to Poland, which is totally legit. A lot of countries buy from us, and a lot of countries, that's how they do it. But anyway, they've been amassing an army and training because they know that if Russia takes the Ukraine, that the next thing is them.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen this happen in 2 world wars. First they go after that area, then they go after Poland. It's happened. Well, Poland this time is like, try it. FAFO.
Yeah.
Try it. And they're like, no, we have a border. Poland, when all these immigrants from like
that was a funny map. That map was hysterical. It was a map of terrorist attacks in Europe. And they had all these red dots all over France and Italy and Spain and
do you know who had none?
Germany. And Poland was literally nothing. It was like a white spot on a blanket of red. They didn't take any of the immigrants. They didn't take any of these immigrants. Nobody in.
Nobody in. You have to have a legit. Well, okay, they will let people in, but they're strict on their border. You have to pass a background check. You have to go through all this process to get in. They're not letting refugees in.
Like how the U.S. used to be.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the U.S. used to be like that. Canada's like that. But anyway, I digress. So if there's a big brother that we should be looking up to
waiting
at this
list
point,
to get in Canada?
10-year.
Oh, it's up to 10 now?
It takes, well, okay, I'm sorry. 4-year waiting list just to get into Canada, 10 years total to get citizenship. My sister is still trying to get citizenship in Great Britain, in England. And it's supposed to take 5 years. She's still not a citizen. Okay, let's just put it that way. And she married a guy in England and moved there. So, it's the other countries we have, there's a long process. Here in America, it's open the door and let them all in.
Yeah. So what happened in Israel and why?
Okay,
why did they do that?
Okay, over the weekend. Okay, to give a little history.
Saturday.
Well, first, let's give a little history. The little history is this. There was a 6-day war that happened in the 70s. Mm-hmm. During that 6-day war, Israel took some land from Egypt, took some land from some other places, totally beat up the crap out of all these countries that had been talking for years that they were going to destroy Israel.
To be clear, Israel is a country, or was a country, then lost its sovereignty.
Yep.
The people had nowhere to go, so they got land, and then from that land, they fought to regain the land that they had.
But before
war, and they won they won those wars.
The 6-day war was all these other countries around them were threatening to do stuff.
And they talked the whole time.
We're going to annihilate you, Israel. Yeah. We're going to annihilate Israel. These multiple Islamic and Muslim countries and everything else wanted to for obvious reasons, right? So, and Israel was like, you know what? We're calling your bluff, and they attacked everybody. First strike, they were like, we're not going to be the victim here. We're going to, and in 6 days they won the war. They took land. Period. End of story. Okay. That says a lot about a country's military, right there. Yeah. You fought on multiple fronts, multiple countries. You kicked butt, took land, and did it in 6 days. Shouldn't want to mess with them. Okay, since then, they have been slowly giving land to back to people in order to be like, all right, we'll give you land. You guys have all these hostilities. We're going to give you some of this land. They gave Egypt all their land.
And to be clear,
they gave the Gaza Strip.
To be clear, they're not pirates that just came into the land, killed everybody, and left nothing alive, and then just took the land. That's not what they did.
Well, no, they took
they won the wars. They took the political figures out of the countries that were threatening.
they kept Gaza. They didn't keep the Egypt land.
No.
Gaza they didn't relinquish until 2005.
Hold on. They were the rulers of those countries, and they oversaw all those other lands as they were the government instilled in those countries.
Okay.
But the people were still in their country. So that would be equivalent of
Except for
Germany taking over I don't know, Poland during World War II. They did kill a lot of people, but they didn't kill everybody and eviscerate the entire country. But their objective was to continue to take the land, incorporate it into the part of the country as Germany, and that was it. Well, when they lost, the people kicked out the people who were supposedly in charge, the military forces that were there, kicked them out and reclaimed their country.
Okay.
So countries shift and change over time, right?
Yep.
So Israel had all this land, but the people in those countries were kind of like, we really don't want Israel ruling over us. One of those specific areas was the Gaza Strip.
Except the people in the Gaza Strip are not a real country.
Not a country, but
they're not even a real people.
They were a territory. Let's put it to you this way. They are a territory, a minor territory in the Middle East. And that little group of people did not want Israel over. They did not want Israel's authority or control over them. So Israel and other places have been doing this too. So Israel has been relinquishing land to these.
You did skip a part. The people that live on the Gaza Strip. Okay, Israel won everything. They had it. Then all these other countries like Jordan, Turkey, and everything else were starting to modernize. These hardcore Muslims didn't want those countries to modernize. So these countries basically kicked those people out.
Okay.
When they kicked them out, they went to the Gaza area and started.
They're
not even a real people. Palestine is not a real country. They're not a people. They are the worst of the worst from other countries that wanted to modernize.
To give you an American point of view, this would be the equivalent of the KKK in the U.S.
Yes. These people,
where the Southern people in the South, who are the Klan members and the skinheads and all that, and have their own little groups, if they were to just take over one state in the country, and exile themselves from the United States,
so they
we're our own independent country.
They were in Gaza. Yeah, that's what Gaza was. So Israel and the people, the Palestinians, who aren't even a real people, who were fighting. They were fighting all these years since they started moving.
Hold on.
In 2005,
they are real people. They are not a sovereign country.
They're not a country.
They're not a recognized sovereign country. They believe themselves to be a recognized sovereign country, but they are not.
Okay. So anyway, they're not even a people. They're really not even a people because they're from multiple countries and they just picked.
So are we.
So anyway, they bit in 2005.
Just saying.
Before 2005, they were still even though Gaza was their thing, and they let Israelis let them have the land. You build it up. You do what you want. They were like in 2005. They said the Palestinians said, we don't want Israel over us anymore. So Israel was like, fine, for peace, in the name of peace, we'll give it to you. We'll give you this land. We'll give you Gaza. We will give you control over it. No more fighting. That should be peace. And they voted in Hamas, basically the Taliban. They hate Jews. If you go on the Hamas website, it says that they're basically the only way that the world will get better is if all Jews are killed. All of Israel.
Genocide.
And their brothers, the Christians. And their brothers, the
evacuation of all life of the Jewish faith.
Yep.
Every single one.
So that's what they believe. So, but anyway,
it seems like
now when they took over the Gaza Strip, here's the thing: by taking over the Gaza Strip, part of the thing that they complained that the Palestinians have been complaining about for years, we're in an open air prison. We don't have we're landlocked. You chose that land. That's why you're landlocked. They're stuck between the Dead Sea and Israel. Okay, Egypt doesn't want them. They could easily leave that area and go to Egypt. Egypt has said the Palestinians are not allowed in their country. No other country wants these people. Okay? So over the weekend, this past weekend, they decided that they were going to attack Israel. They started the attack by attacking an outdoor festival of people at a techno music
and now, mind
concert.
you, the way so hold on. Now, to be clear about some things that you need to also know is that during the Bush administration, not Bush, Reagan administration.
Reagan.
I apologize. During the Reagan administration, there was a lot of support and backing for military support in a project for Israel that is currently known as the Iron Dome, but it was like the Star Wars project over here or something. But basically, they are fully equipped with a bunch of anti-air air missiles that shoot missiles out of the sky.
And it's worked
And
for
it's
years.
been working for years. Now, this time, they didn't use missiles.
Well, they did.
From the places they usually fire them from. They were using missiles from close inland or from actual ground.
They were using them in schools. They were launching them from schools.
So they had
Hamas was.
right. So and a big part of their infiltration was through paragliding
Hang gliding.
on motorcycles. So they were on motorcycles paragliding in, and that's how they were coming in.
The missile detection system wouldn't catch them.
Because they're not going to catch them because they're not missiles.
And they're flying too low to the
They're
ground.
too low. Yep.
So
this is how they were able to break through with
And-
these really high tech infiltration.
So anyway, they killed people. The starting of this attack was at a techno concert, outdoor festival,
Rock.
techno music.
But why would they want to attack a festival people instead of like their government building?
Because this is what they do.
This is what
they don't actually have any. They don't have any code of ethics of war.
They broke war crimes automatically from the door.
They don't go for soldiers. They go for women and children. They go for the weak. They prey on the weak and the civilian.
They went into
so
people's
everybody
houses.
they went after were civilians.
Only
44 soldiers have been found supposedly killed. Israeli soldiers.
They went after
over 700 civilians have been murdered.
Now
or killed.
during that time, they also went house to house, grabbed people out of their house. Well, they went house to house, made the men watch their women and children being beheaded and slaughtered in front of them, then took the men back to Gaza and started torturing them in the streets there. If they weren't able to get you out of the house, they set your house on fire so that you burn alive in it with your family. Okay, they have found heads of children and babies on the ground next to bodies. Okay, this is what Hamas has done. Yeah. All right.
No, I see why they did something.
Now
you know why Israel retaliated. Not started. Retaliate.
Now, Israel has since declared war. For the first time in 50 years has declared war. Yeah. Okay, then they started shooting missiles directly back at Palestine. And some people are like, well, the Israel is shooting missiles to churches and stuff. That's because that's where the Palestine army is hiding. They're purposely hiding in places where there are innocent people so that they think you won't attack them.
And hold on, and to be clear, again, things that you do, right? And people don't understand this. A lot of people will criticize America, right? Because of the big bombs that we dropped in Japan, right? So we get criticized for that. Well, one of the things that gets overlooked by this is a payload that was dumped before we dropped the 2 missiles on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We dropped boxes across the entire continent of pamphlets.
Well, country of Japan, not continent.
The country of Japan and all that area that was in their native language that said, you need to evacuate these major cities immediately. Your lives are in danger. You are not safe. And if you value your life, you will flee now.
And Israel did the same thing.
Israel did the same thing before they
warned them ahead of time.
They launched every single person on the peripheral border of the country was given fair warning to leave immediately.
We are going to destroy you.
We are going to launch a counterattack. So they warned them and still followed through with their actions.
Now, there are
just like we did in Japan. So the difference is there is a code of ethics.
Right.
And
code of honor.
And this does date back to even well into history. Japan is probably one of the best known historically accurate countries to have shown, which is why, a really good read if you want to read Art of War, Sun Tzu, more of a business book than anything, but besides the point.
Oh, Sun Tzu.
Talks about the formal art of declaring war. And when you declare war, they would have their generals come at the middle of the battlefield and they would have tea. And they would discuss their strategy. And their strategy wasn't about annihilation. Their strategy was, how many troops do you have? Okay, how many troops do you have? Okay. How many people are you willing to negotiate their lives before you would concede the battle? Okay. Do we agree to these terms? Okay. They would shake hands or bow in Japan. They would finish their tea. Their generals would return back to their battle lines. They would then declare a day of battle, and then that day would commence. And once they had agreed what they had agreed upon, if they had lost that many lives on the battlefield after that day was concluded, they would come and formally offer their sword to the opposing general. That general would take their head ceremonially as victory, and then the battle was over.
Yep.
That was it. That was a formal art of war. And war needs to be that way for a reason, because if you don't, you become tribal. You become just like, and then again, I'm going to say this. You start to allow a chaotic approach to how things get done.
I see.
I know you want to embrace that kind of in a certain aspect, but here's the reason why you don't. You don't, because if you do, you ask for it in return.
Let me ask you a question.
You ask for it in return.
Let me ask you a question. I'd rather do war God's way.
Okay, you want just a fireball to come out of the sky and just annihilate the
entire
country?
Read the Old Testament.
Easy.
God's way of doing war is decimating and eradicating everything. That's God's way of doing war.
Yeah, well, that was also in the Old Testament.
God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Yeah, we have grace.
In this matter, no, you do not.
You do.
No.
You do.
No, Jesus wouldn't have handed out swords to his followers if there wasn't a reason for fighting at times.
And he also told him not to cut. He didn't have to cut his ear off.
Well, this is true.
Okay, then.
In this sense, with what Palestine has done to the nation of Israel, God's chosen people, and the fact that I can
hold on. You don't mistake what I'm saying and misguide that. I'm going to stop you for just a minute.
Well, can I say what I want? All I'm saying is Israel has my full support, and I hope to God, I hope to God they absolutely destroy what is known as Palestine, right. Retake the Gaza Strip, destroy everybody, just slaughter them all. Okay, you started this, you now get it. You get scorched earth at this point because they tried to play the nice way. We'll give you land, let's have peace. And they refused. All these years of trying to be peaceful, it has not worked. Like I have always said, I believe words should be used first. In any disagreement, in any altercation, words should be used first. But sometimes a punch in the mouth is what needs to be done. Just sometimes. Not all the time. But you have to be ready to do it. Now is the time that they not only need to punch them out, they need to pull the root out of the ground. They need to cut the root out, be done with it, take back Gaza and rebuild it as part of Israel.
But here's the problem. In this particular case, and I understand your point, and though I believe I 100% support Israel. I am well over the backing of Israel. That's not the point. My point is that what Israel's approach should be is a retaliation, an attack, which is what they're going to do, and they should.
Oh, they are doing. It's not what they're going to do. It's what they are doing.
But what they should do and what they need to do is they need to dominate that country, dominate that people, and they need to take that land back, and they now need to basically go, we let you have it, you abused it, you don't take care now. No, that's it. Now you're somebody else's problem, so to speak.
No, God told him a long time ago to eradicate all people that are not for him out of that area.
But
they need to do it again.
What Israel should do after this, and it will probably become a little bit more involved, and I'm believing this is probably where this is going to go. And before we get into this subject, I understand where a lot of people are going to go. Pastor. What does this mean as far as biblical context? What does this mean as far as end time problems? Because this is all talked about in the Bible. Yes, it is. Israel will need to reclaim its land. Yep. Its land is much bigger than what is currently in existence.
Yep.
What it will do at this moment, I don't think is going to magnitude that. Why do I say that? Well, because first and foremost, you have to understand there's a very giant boat out not too far away from Iran, and Afghanistan, and Pakistan. And that boat has a lot of firepower on it.
That's be us.
And though I understand that we're presently there to kind of just be like, hey, Israel, guess what? If stuff, as the title of the show, hits the oscillating unit, we got your back. But I don't necessarily think that this is a looks good optics thing for the U.S. And I mean it for this particular reason. You look dumb. You do. Because though you are there saying, oh, yeah, we support you, Israel, pay no mind to the money trail
that we've been sending to Iran that has been
helped
spending
them
for terrorists.
Attack you.
Yeah, gotta love that one. We've been sending billions.
Or the problems you're going to have in Afghanistan. Hold on. Wait. This gets better. Or the problems you're going to have in Afghanistan, because you will have problems in Afghanistan, because this will provoke these neighbors. This attack will provoke. I think we talked about this, about how that you're going to have that emboldened thing happening. Well, that Gaza attacking Israel is going to embolden Afghanistan and these neighbors and Iran to start thinking they could come in and do some damage here too, and maybe they can actually have their victory that they're looking for, right? Well, what's Afghanistan going to possibly be attacking you with? I wonder if they have helicopters and pallets of weapons that, man, where did they get them from?
Wait, we left money there too?
Where did they get that money from? That's amazing.
Joe Biden, you moron, you left it there for him with a bow on it.
That's amazing. So this is why I say you look stupid, because though, yeah, I know you have to say the thing, we stand with Israel, although nobody would do it until Donald Trump actually went over there and said it and boldly put our
embassy in Israel.
But he's a terrible, horrible president. Let's not talk about how bad of a president he is. But let's get on to the point.
Tell you what, Hamas wouldn't have done this with him in here.
No. Russia would still be over there sucking its thumb if Trump was president, okay?
Yeah, this is true.
We wouldn't have money because we wouldn't be funding Ukraine. We wouldn't be sitting here having to deal with Israel getting attacked, because that wouldn't have happened either. Matter of fact, I will tell you this. You don't like Trump, fine. The entire world was on its best behavior for 4 years that it's been in ever. And I'm not saying, oh, he's some superhero. No. But you want to know?
He was just crazy enough to hit the button.
He was the king of the FAFO. I don't know what that means, but I know I've heard it before.
Screw around and find out.
That's what it is. But he was the king of it. He literally went to places no president has ever touched.
North Korea.
He's no president in the United States has gone there.
Do you know what he did before? Wait.
I'm not doing this to just turn into a Trump person.
No, wait. Look, as much as I have my issues with Trump, wait, listen. Didn't he get an agreement in the Middle East? There was a peace treaty.
Yes, he did.
First time ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Didn't hold, but it didn't hold because he's not there.
It didn't hold because Biden screwed it up, you dumb.
So the point, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because though we have the military and though we have the force to sit there and issue support,
we don't have the weaponry to do it because we gave it all to Ukraine.
No, we do.
We're running low big time.
We're not running low.
Yeah, we are.
I will tell you this. The moment you sit there and you think that, you're a fool. Talk to somebody who's in the military. They'll tell you, okay, there might be numbers out there that they are throwing to the political people or to the public. So they go, here, this is what you need to know because it makes political advantages seem better. If you look with your physical eyes, it's not true.
Look,
good, bro.
We are still the most dominant superpower in the world. There is no question about that. But we look weak. I will say we look weak.
Now.
Oh no. We don't just look. We are.
No.
And here's why. Because of the LGBTQ people they keep putting in uniform.
I don't care about the 1% that can't do a girl's push-up. I don't care.
But they make it in.
No, they're not. So that's great. I want them in. You know what? I want them in because somebody has to be the human bullet sponge. I appreciate your service. Go catch as many as you can. Pokemon, gotta catch them all. Have fun.
You're like, shiny.
Exactly. No. I want them to catch as many as they can. I don't want them to catch one. Try to catch them all. Do your best. You're a superhero.
But
You'll die a hero. And then we'll thank you for it. I don't care what you do to your personal life. I don't care. If you serve, I don't care what your personal life background is. It doesn't matter. But if you are not physically fit enough to do the job, you are just going to catch bullets. That's a reality. That's not fiction. Because guess what? When you go overseas and they go Allahu Akbar and go Paradatat, guess what? They don't care that you wave a rainbow flag.
Nope.
They don't. Matter of fact,
that's
that would be worse. They're going to come after you more. They're going to cut your head off. That's what they will do. If you don't wear the rainbow flag, they're just going to go Karat, and then make sure make sure you're fully dead. If you have a rainbow badge on your uniform, they're going to go, oh look, it's one of them queer ones, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, they don't like gays and lesbians.
And I can say that because it's part of their acronym.
Yeah. Anyway, I do want to say one thing about the individuals in this country that are doing these pro Hamas rallies. What? Get out of our country! Oh yeah,
New York. Well, hold on, wait.
New York, Seattle.
Is it a liberal city run by Democrats, and you're shocked?
Oh no, I'm not shocked.
Okay, I don't know why you would be. I'm surprised they have. I'm surprised there's people. I'm surprised there's people there to protest about it.
More people throughout this country. Toronto and Canada.
You know what?
Australia, places all through Europe.
You have it wrong. I was told that is a mostly peaceful protest, and that after they're done chanting about the down with Israel and they're pro Hamas and all, they're gonna go to their local CVS and Target and riot, and they're gonna get some free attire from those stores. That's what I was told, because it's
$999 worth.
Well, apparently, I think somewhere around that number.
Well, it's not over 1,000.
Yeah.
No, actually, I think it's.
I mean, that's what I was led to believe. That's what I know. That's like the New York state of mind now, right? That's the whole plan over there.
So ridiculous.
This is what you do.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. I see anything pro Hamas, y'all gonna wish I don't.
You're not going to.
I mean,
you're not going to.
Our case looking weak if we're sitting there going.
But no, and this, but again, but here's the thing.
Oh yeah,
but you want to know something? Here is the wonderful thing, though. As much as you say, okay, that's really bad optics, right? That's bad optics from America. Yeah, it is. But here in America, unlike any nation in the entire world, they have the right to do that.
Yep,
it's true.
And I
don't have to like it. Yeah. But here's the thing. You ready?
I have rights too.
Hold on. This is where this gets good. Okay? You have the right to say that. That's true. You also have the right to the consequences that come along with saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And if something happens, I'm not advocating violence.
Oh, I'm advocating.
I'm not you. I'm not advocating violence. But what I am saying is that if something happens because of your advocation of this group and stuff happens to you because of it, don't be surprised. You did have the right to say it. You have the freedom of speech, but you can expect that people will not agree with that freedom of speech, and you will find
Church of State does not represent Nolan Bryan, and we do not embrace violence, nor do we condone violence.
Oh, I condone it. There's a place and time for it.
If
there's a place and time for it.
If and I will say this because again, Christians generally
are cowards.
Will take that kind of that statement I made, and they will gravitate to a no violence or no protections or no whatever. Right? Yeah, and you're going to turn the other cheek kind of thing. Look, if somebody comes into my house yelling Allahu Akbar and they want a death to America me, or they want a death to my Christian faith me, or whatever they want to do to me, the immediate moment that my life is felt in danger and threatened, you will be met with resistance.
Deadly.
Okay? No, equal amount of resistance. If you're coming at me with violence, you will get violence in return. That is me turning the other cheek.
I'm going to turn it while I grab this.
No, that is me. That is me turning the other cheek. I'm sorry. That is me turning the other cheek. That is exactly what it means. But you know what? The problem is that people tend to think, oh, you're not to retaliate. Well, it's not. You're not retaliating in extra or in addition to. But I am going to give you back what you had dished out.
We are going to play the purge.
No, I mean, again, I'm not looking for people. I'm not hunting people down. I'm not going out of my way to go find somebody who's doing this.
The only people that should be hunted are pedos.
If I wanted to do that,
if I wanted
to do that, I'd go to these liberal states and I'd carry. I'd walk right in. I'd go, hey, look, I'm here to clean house.
and honestly, there are a couple people in our government.
Talib, get out.
Yep.
I'm sorry. And here's the thing.
Talib and what's her face? The one that dated her cousin or her son, her brother?
Dated?
Or married?
Married and slept with. You don't have it right. And no, that's not fiction.
And no, it's not.
That's a real thing.
Oh, did you see there's a video out when Matt Gaetz was addressing the House?
Oh, God. No, I didn't see this.
He was addressing the House, and there's a side that somebody was videoing from the side, and you can see Omar sitting there. And the look she's given Matt Gaetz is like she wants a piece of him in, biblical terms. And so some people have been jokingly saying, is Matt Gaetz really related to her?
So long story short,
Talib
and Ilhan Omar need to resign or be removed from office. And the only reason why I can say this, and many people will say, wait,
anti-American. Yes, we can.
Hold on. Freedom of speech, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay. Did they say some things that are pretty bad? Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's my problem. You are not just an American here and you were born here and you have rights as a citizen here. That's all true. You're elected to an office.
Omar came here. She wasn't born here.
You are elected to the office. You're elected to this office. They're still citizens. You're elected to this office.
But they weren't born here.
You're elected to this office. You're representative of the country, not
actually you're representative of the people.
You're representative of the people for the country. As a state official, there's a different level of expectation. And that level of expectation is that you respond to the same standards that the country standard is set. And if we set a standard that our political allies are Israel, you cannot take a stance that is opposing to that.
Yep.
Correct.
I'm sorry. And if you do, you have to vacate your position.
Look, you can say whatever you want. You want to join those Hamas, those
this is not a
things,
debate about left or right. This is not about. So this is literally.
I didn't even know they were against.
100%.
For years they've been saying that we should.
Ilhan Omar is a devout Muslim. Okay,
and Rashida Tlaib
is a Muslim Palestinian.
Yep. They both came to the country. They at a young age. They both immigrated here. They both became citizens. Whatever. So you have the right to run for office. Both of them have
tweeted out basically a celebration of
Hamas
and what they have done to Israel as.
Keep in mind, these are the same people that want to kill babies in the womb. They have no problem with babies being decapitated.
They're using cleaned up verbiage, Americanized verbiage to say these things.
But it's basically Allah
But they're basically saying that they're pro this assault against Israel.
And this is the thing. I look, I've heard this, and I've heard other people that I follow and listen to say this, and I agree with this statement. I actually got Crowder said this today. There are supposedly most Muslims disregard a lot of what Muhammad said in the Quran and everything else, but way too many don't.
Yep.
As he put it, the stats are that there are about 200 million devout Muslims in the world that believe that pretty much
all Jews must be annihilated.
All Jews and Christians should be annihilated.
Yeah, but Jews are primary.
Okay, this is an ideology. This Muslim ideology is not.
That's in the Quran.
Yes. Oh, it's all over the Quran. Kill Jews. I've actually read part of it. In the very beginning, when you start going through it, it sounds very peaceful until you get later, and it seems like the writer had a bad day. And he starts spouting off, kill the Jew, kill the Christian, slaughter them, eradicate them from. Basically, their end times, their Armageddon, end of days, whatever you want to call it, will only happen once every Jew is dead, according to their Quran.
And so they believe their only way to get out of this is to
kill all Jews.
Kill all the Jews.
And they believe this so much that when it comes to that end day, when all Jews must die, that when Jews try to hide behind trees, even the trees and the rocks will shout out, "Dear Muslim warrior, the Jew is behind me, kill them."
Wow.
Okay, this is what they believe. You are not only a cult, because it's not a religion. Okay, you are a violent cult that wants to eradicate it. I mean, it's the same ideology as Hitler, just different way of going at it. Okay, you want to eradicate all Jews and all Christians. I'm sorry, you have no place in modern society. You have no place in this country. You have no place in any country really, and should be eradicated immediately. I'm not even gonna lie. Your whole faith is nothing but garbage and wants nothing but death. You shouldn't be sucking in clean air anymore. Plain and simple.
And to give a slightly less
And
aggressive and violent take.
and mind you, this whole religion spurs from Ishmael. Okay, this whole mindset, this whole ideology spurs from Ishmael.
Which,
and some of you may be asking,
your Bible, who's Ishmael?
Ishmael is the bastard son of Abraham that he had with his
Is that
servant.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had with his servant and then sent them away.
Yep.
Because Sarah was like, hey, go sleep with my handmaiden. And he did and got her pregnant. And then God basically told him, like, no.
Because Sarah didn't believe that she
That she
would be able to have a child.
And
God
she's like-
promised her a child.
Right, and then-
She believed her womb was barren. So in her unbelief, he had a child, and that child was Ishmael. And then, which
I
is
know,
why
it's
they
2
believe.
hours. It's not 2 hours.
I'm about to say, I know we didn't hit 2 hours.
Which also leads people to believe that, he's the first and and all that stuff and blah blah blah, but that wasn't God's chosen way. God's chosen way was through Sarah.
And Ishmael, mind you,
So-
he wasn't sent away at birth. He was sent when he was older after Isaac was born. Okay, so he grew up around Abraham. He was taught the things that Abraham about God and everything else, and then he was shunned, and then he left, and that's why the Muslim religion they bastardized the Pentateuch, which is the first, which is in the Torah, and also the first 5 Bible books of the Christian Bible. They bastardized it, twisted it, and distorted it to create the Quran Muslim religion. Okay, so this has been going on since then. This is not going to stop just because somebody comes in and goes, hey, let's give them some land.
So what do you think's going to wind up happening with our current president and everything else that's going on? I mean,
Well, I mean, he's probably going to have to get his butt wiped because he's going to crap himself
All right, come on.
again.
All right. So to give a slightly less aggressive take, but a more realistic take. The Middle East in general and a lot of the countries in that region are very underdeveloped, and wars have been going on for millennia.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're talking about an area that only knows really one thing, and
Violence.
it is war and violence. And this is demonstrated just by the videos that you can see that aren't really bad, but of them celebrating their successful attacks on little villages and stuff, where they're in a small like shack and they're all holding militarized weapons in common clothes that look like they came out of like one of our like Goodwill houses, and their kids are also carrying these firearms.
Yep.
And they're like 5 or 6 years
Iran
old.
is great for sending 12-year-olds out with machine guns.
If you talk to people who have gone overseas and fought in the wars in Afghanistan and over in Iraq and Iran and in these countries, they will tell you, if they can relive those memories without having trauma, the horrors that they have to go through, because they will be attacked at random. And the attacks will be coming from women and children
As well.
that look like they're just normal people.
man.
And they will unleash firearms and assault weapons on troops in these towns.
And they
have to defend themselves, which means they have to shoot back at women and children. And
this
it's
is why-
unfortunate,
and
because
this is why-
it's not what we want to do. That's not how we operate. But hold on, let me finish my take. So the point is that what we have to deal with and rationalize in our brains is kind of akin to when we first came here. And though there were people who lived here and they were native to this country, they were not as advanced in society. Their way of thinking was tribal. Their way of dealing with things was through barbaric tradition.
Yep.
And that
And wars and
barbarism
everything
was
else.
very, very violent.
Yep.
And we had to dominate that violence through our technological advances. And how we did, we eventually, I mean, for the better lack of terms, annihilated a good portion of the society to the point where the only ones that were left were the ones that would assimilate.
Yep.
So that is what has to happen in the Middle East.
Look, and
It's going to have to happen, but the problem is going to be where, I hate to say it, but countries like neighbors like Turkey and Syria and Lebanon, and I mean, maybe even India, if you go over that far, and you could go into even parts of Africa. These nations that are there that are civilized. I mean, I know people don't think, they think Egypt is still like, sphinxes and, things like that. No, they have
like
they really have like really well-developed cities.
Yeah,
there,
they do.
Okay. And they are very technologically advanced. They have militaries, they have weapons, they have, I don't know if they have nuclear power, but they do have some really powerful weapons. These countries, if you think this is just going to stay isolated,
Nope.
you're a fool. It's not. Because these type of civilizations, these barbaric civilizations, don't know any other way. They will not stop until they have either all lost their lives or until those who are smart go, Misa give up, Misa surrender, and they assimilate to whatever that nation is that takes them over. And whatever that nation is, I'm not saying it even has to be Israel. Look, I'm only advocating Israel just takes back the area that Palestine says is theirs, which is the Holy Land that belongs to Israel, so that the people of Israel can actually worship in their holy country, in their holy city, without attacks and problems. That's all I'm asking for. Right? That's it. Because that's all they literally want.
Yep.
They don't want much else. That's all they want. But you guys keep pushing them, and to the point where they have no other choice. So you cornered the wolf. I don't know what to tell you, but you got bit back because you cornered the wolf.
Oh, and you're going to continue to get bitten because they've only just begun.
Yeah. So now America's position is very simple. They are an ally.
And have been. We were the first country to recognize them as a country.
And what does that mean for us as a country?
We might have to go over there.
We are already there, and I'll be honest. If you're worried about like, oh, we're gonna have another Gulf War, or are we gonna have another Vietnam War, or are we gonna have another? No.
Keep in mind, the entire Israeli population has been in the military if they're older than 18.
I want to point this out real quick.
We train them; they train us.
There was this guy who was a master assassin of Americans who was living in, at the time, I think it was in Iran. And he had made many threats to Americans and to the sovereign nations that are aligned with America, and has done all kinds of terrorist attacks. And we killed him in his car.
With a very strategic and properly aimed missile.
Okay. Unlike Obama, who killed a whole, group of people at their wedding innocently. If we want to kill people
surgically,
we don't need to walk on the ground to do it.
No,
I'm pointing out that it's just the time
send the SEAL teams over.
The time of having to actually boots on the ground go into a military battle of war, I don't think is necessary, especially with these particular nations and these areas, because we have access via the sea.
I'd say we
have tons of air to ground firepower. We do not
we have
need
tons of bases over there.
We do not need to worry so much about how do I say it? We do not need to worry about large swaths of very highly populated cities that need to be evacuated and things, because it's a lot of just small villages and lots of Dirt and sand.
Now, I will tell you, we definitely need
Mountains.
We need to help Israel send the Palestinians back to the Stone Age for them, which is last week.
I was going to say, wait a minute. I'm like, oh yeah, no,
it was last week. And believe me, my thoughts and my prayers are heavily with the nation of Israel.
Yeah.
If you are a believer in Christ, that is where your prayers are to be right now, with the nation of Israel. Scripture is very, very specific on that we are to be supporting the nation of Israel, that we are supposed to be praying for them, because the reality is that they are the whole reason we have salvation in Christ. Let's just put it there. Okay, without the nation of Israel,
was a Jew.
Without the nation of Israel, without the lineage of David, without all that, we would not have Jesus Christ. Without Jesus, we would not have salvation. Without Jesus, we would not be grafted into the vine that is Israel. Because Israel is more than a country. Okay, it is a people.
Yep.
It is God's chosen people named after Jacob, whose name got switched to Israel. Okay. So, where Christians should be on this, if you are not aligned with praying and supporting Israel in any way, facet that you can, then you are going against God and his scriptures, plain and simple. I'm not going to pit no bones about it.
Yeah.
If you are a church that is blaming Israel and wants to try to support Hamas, or even wants to be, we should be all about peace. Listen, God said, blessed are the peacemakers. He did not say, blessed are the peace lovers. Yes, there is a time for peace, but there's also a time for war.
Well, no, you got to, how do you make peace?
Sometimes you got to beat them with a stick until they go, peace, peace.
You got to break a few eggs.
Yes.
You can't make the omelet unless you break some eggs.
So, if you are a Christian, that is where you should be. So, Israel, we're praying for you, man. Go for it. Take back what's yours. Do what you need to do. Know that that real Americans and real Christians are here to support you. That all being said, we've gone over our time. Yes, the fecal matter has hit the oscillation unit. It has hit it pretty good. I hope you're not standing in front of it when it did hit. If it did, please go get a shower. Because if you were standing in front, you got hit. But anyway, we thank you for joining us here at the corner of Church and State, where there is no separation. If you got anything to say about this, we got an email. It's in the links. Follow it. You can come spout at us, say what you got to say. Maybe you bring up a point we ain't heard of. If that's the case, we will talk about it on here. You got questions, prayer requests, all that stuff right there.
Follow, share.
Yes, please follow, share, subscribe. Get everybody involved in this.
Jersey area, happen to be in Williamstown. Come see us on Sunday.
Our church website is also in the link. So if you have questions for this man, it'll give you the ability to contact him.
Online to me if you want.
You can listen to his previous sermons. I will not say old. His previous sermons. I mean, even though he looks old, but anyway,
that's fired.
all that gray. Anyway, like we said,
all this wisdom. That's why.
If you happen to be in South Jersey at 10 o'clock, give or take, we will not shoot you if you're a little late. Maybe if you're a lot late.
No.
Okay, no. But we might apply electrical shock.
No.
No, we won't. We will welcome you with open arms, and we will love to praise and worship with
whatever time you show up.
Yes,
as long as the doors are still open.
Just don't show up at 1 o'clock.
You show up at like 3 o'clock, and we're not there. I'm sorry. That's just that's the truth.
So, but please do that. Please. And we look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks again at the corner of Church and State, where we will be doing a special episode on Halloween. And for all you Christians out there, we're going to need you to look at this, because you may not really understand a lot of things when it comes to Halloween, and you may need to change some things as a Christian.
Well, I'll just say this: stop having bonfires. Let's start with that one. Campfires. Very good.
We are going to talk about it and talk about the spiritual aspects of Halloween and why it is important that Christians not partake in this. Yeah. So please, in 2 weeks, you need to be here to watch that and also to share it and everything else. So until then, I hope you guys have a great one. I hope that you guys have the day you deserve. for some of you, that's not so good. And I hope that your families are doing well and everything else as we are coming to the end of this season. Thanksgiving, baby. And other holidays that are fantastic and awesome.
And another year.
Yep. Hopefully a better
election year.
Yes. So things are going to get fun. Anyway, so y'all have a good one. Good night. God bless. And peace.
Can't help it, I just seem to see the world different. It ain't Republicans or labor rules, it's mental illness. The internet is only interested in left opinions. Cancel culture's got more power lately than the First Amendment. If you don't like it, leave. We will not defund police. We don't want no riots in our neighborhoods or in the streets. We respect freedom of speech. We protect what we believe. We don't want nobody dead, so please do not tread on me. In America, your freedom ain't free. In America, got soldiers dying overseas. So America,